An orphan, doubted by his community, became their savior. The sun dipped low over Kano's Kermi market, painting the dusty streets in burnt orange. Vendors shouted, goats bleated, and the air was thick with smoke from roadside suya grills. In the middle of the chaos stood 13-year-old Suleiman, balancing a tray of groundnuts on his small head. "Buy groundnut! Buy groundnut! Fresh groundnut!" he shouted, weaving between motorcycle riders and shouting traders. But behind his loud calls and polite smiles was a silent ache. Suleiman was an orphan. His father, once a proud mechanic, had died when Boko Haram attacked their village years ago. His mother followed months later from illness and exhaustion. Left with nothing, Suleiman was taken in by his aunt, who put him to work hawking groundnuts to contribute to the house. By day, he ran through crowded streets, dodging insults and chasing customers. By night, he was just another nameless boy in a noisy compound where hunger and poverty ruled. But there was one thing nobody knew about Suleiman. When the market slept, he studied. Every night, when the last buyers disappeared and his aunt's compound went quiet, Suleiman would sneak out with his torn school book and stub of a pencil. He would walk to the highway junction where an old solar-powered streetlight flickered weakly above the road. There, he would sit on the curb, legs folded, writing furiously on scraps of paper. His dream was bigger than the hawking trays, bigger than Kano's dusty streets, bigger than his struggles. He wanted to become an inventor. In the quiet of those nights, he imagined machines that could turn sunlight into power for every home. He drew diagrams of solar panels, tiny batteries, and wires he'd never touched before. Passers-by would sometimes mock him. "Small boy, reading under streetlight? Go and sleep." But Suleiman would not stop. "Maybe I'm poor today," he whispered one night, staring at the stars. "But one day, my ideas will light up the world." Suleiman wandered into a local mechanic's workshop. Old radios, broken fans, and scraps of metal lay scattered across the dusty floor. An idea struck him like lightning. "What if," he thought, "I collect these scraps and build something useful?" He started picking discarded wires, dead batteries, and plastic containers from trash heaps across the market. At night, under his streetlight, he would carefully assemble tiny circuits using a broken screwdriver he borrowed from the mechanic. Weeks passed. Nights blurred into mornings. His tiny fingers burned, bled, and blistered, but Suleiman kept going. Then, something incredible happened. One night, his small device, built from scraps, lit up a tiny LED bulb. The soft blue light glowed in the darkness. Tears filled his eyes. "Nobody will believe me," he whispered, holding the bulb close. "But this is just the beginning." News of the hawker boy who built light spread quietly among market boys until it reached Malam Idris, a retired physics teacher living nearby. One night, he found Suleiman at the junction, hunched over his scraps. "My boy," Malam Idris said softly, "what are you trying to build?" Suleiman hesitated, then showed him the small circuit diagram on his paper. The old man's eyes widened. You did this yourself?" Suleiman nodded shyly. From that day, everything changed. Malam Idris began teaching Suleiman every night, explaining concepts like current, voltage, and resistance using sticks, chalk, and old transistor radios. He gave him new books, corrected his designs, and taught him to dream even bigger. "You are special, Suleiman," the old teacher said one evening. "Don't let this world convince you otherwise." Those words became Suleiman's fuel. Not everyone celebrated his passion. His aunt grew frustrated that he spent nights wasting time with useless books instead of sleeping to prepare for hawking. "You think you're better than us, eh?" she shouted one evening, snatching his diagrams. These dreams will not feed you." Suleiman didn't answer. He simply walked out quietly, tears burning his cheeks. Under the streetlight, he whispered to himself, "One day, these same dreams will feed the whole village." That night, he decided he would build something big, something that would change everything. Weeks later, Malam Idris brought Suleiman an old science magazine featuring an article on solar-powered irrigation systems. Suleiman's eyes widened as he flipped through the pages. Farmers in faraway countries were using sunlight to power water pumps and grow food on dry land. He turned to the old man, voice trembling with excitement. "Malam, what if we build one for our village?" The old teacher smiled knowingly. "My boy," he said, placing a hand on Suleiman's shoulder, "if anyone can, it's you." Suleiman sat under his streetlight, staring at the torn magazine Malam Idris had given him. On the page was a picture of a solar-powered irrigation pump in a Kenyan village. He whispered softly to himself, "If they can do it, then I can." But his idea was bigger than just irrigation. His village and many others suffered from constant blackouts and dirty water. Children missed school because they spent hours fetching water from faraway wells. Suleiman's goal was clear. "I will build a device powered by sunlight, one that gives light and clean water to everyone." It sounded impossible, but to Suleiman, it was his destiny. The journey was brutal. Every night, he and Malam Idris scavenged dump sites and mechanic workshops, collecting broken radios, plastic containers, batteries, and damaged solar panels. His hands blistered. His eyes ached from nights without sleep. His stomach growled from skipped meals. One evening, Musa, another hawker boy, stopped by and shook his head. "Suleiman, why are you killing yourself like this? These people don't care." Suleiman looked up, his voice steady. "Musa, one day, they will." Just when progress was being made, disaster struck. Suleiman had finally built a small prototype, a solar-powered pump designed to purify water. He carried it proudly to the community well, eager to test it in front of curious neighbors. The crowd gathered. He flipped the switch. Nothing happened. The pump sputtered, then exploded with a loud pop, scattering water and wires everywhere. The crowd laughed hysterically. "Look at him! Orphan boy wants to be an engineer. Go back to selling groundnuts." Even his aunt mocked him. "You've embarrassed us enough. Throw these foolish dreams away." That night, Suleiman sat under his streetlight, tears streaming silently. For the first time, he almost gave up. The next day, Malam Idris found Suleiman sitting by the roadside, staring at the broken pump. The old man knelt beside him and said softly, "Suleiman, do you know the difference between those who fail and those who succeed?" The boy shook his head. "Those who succeed," Malam Idris smiled, "refuse to break." Those words burned deep into Suleiman's heart. He wiped his tears, stood up, and whispered, "Then I won't break." Weeks later, with renewed determination, Suleiman redesigned everything. He experimented with a more efficient solar panel, salvaging fragments from 3 different panels to create one working unit. He built a stronger battery pack from discarded laptop cells. Night after night, he failed, but each failure taught him something new. Finally, one quiet dawn under the streetlight, he pressed the switch again. Water gushed out, clear and fresh. Suleiman froze, his eyes wide. He had done it! He screamed into the silent night, "It works! It works!" A week later, Suleiman and Malam Idris gathered the entire community at the well. Children sat on the ground, women stood with buckets, men crossed their arms skeptically. Suleiman connected his device, faced the crowd, and said, "This machine uses the sun to clean water. No fuel, no noise, no cost." He flipped the switch. The pump whirred to life, sunlight powering it effortlessly. Fresh, clean water poured into buckets. The children screamed with joy. This time, there was no laughter, only silence. Then cheers. One old farmer shouted, "From today, you are Suleiman the inventor." Videos of Suleiman's invention spread on social media. A journalist from Abuja visited. Then one from Lagos. Then BBC Hausa called. Within weeks, NGOs reached out, offering scholarships and equipment. The governor of Kano State invited Suleiman to showcase his invention at a regional innovation fair. Standing on stage, holding his small solar-powered pump, Suleiman said, "I am a proof that genius lives everywhere." Even on the streets here in Kano, the audience rose to their feet. Applause thundered. Months later, the once-forgotten street hawker stood at the gates of a STEM academy in Abuja, where he had received a full scholarship. But before leaving, Suleiman returned to his streetlight, the place where his journey began. He whispered softly, "I started here with nothing, and today, I carry hope for everyone like me." He closed his notebook, smiled, and walked away, knowing his life and his community's life would never be the same. In a world that tried to break me, I chose to bend, but not fall. In a place where dreams are buried, I chose to dream louder. And when everyone doubted, I lit a path for others to follow.